Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am very excited to announce the Midwestuary, the Fellowship of the Spirit Conference in August 2025, August 24th or August 22nd through August 24th this year, 2025, here in Chicago. And registration is live. So if you are excited about this conference, go over to midwestuary.com and you will find links to purchase tickets and register for the event. No need to wait. Go right ahead. So, what is this conference? Well, first, we are, as I mentioned, it is August 22nd through August 24th. The main events will be on Friday, the 22nd, and Saturday, the 23rd. Paul Vanderklay will be preaching at Elmhurst Christian Reformed Church on Sunday morning, the 24th, and that's sort of like the unofficial end of the conference. Although we're also, there are some people who are trying to get a paintball gathering going for Thursday, the 21st. If you're especially interested in that idea, please leave a comment to the video, and I can put you in touch with the people who are trying to get that going. Where it will be at Elmhurst Christian Reformed Church. Elmhurst is a western suburb of Chicago. It's about 25 minutes south of O'Hare Airport. And if you're looking where to stay, I would recommend the Hilton Chicago / Oak Brook Suites. It is within walking distance of the church. And that is where I think most of the people from the conference will be staying. So if you're especially excited about, those sort of late night hotel bar conversations or conversations over breakfast, that would be the place to stay. But there's actually lots of hotels in the area. There's Airbnbs, there are campgrounds. And so you can sort of choose your own adventure on where you want to stay. Who will be there? The main speakers are Paul Vanderklay. Paul Vanderklay is a pastor in the Christian Reformed Church in Sacramento. He's also the host of his own YouTube channel and sort of one of the central organizing figures in this little corner of the internet and this conference. Elizabeth Oldfield, she is the host of the Sacred podcast. She's very interesting. She has sort of a cool story about intentional communal living in London and just sort of how to make faith work in this 21st century. John Vervaeke is a professor of cognitive science at the University of Toronto. He's been on my YouTube channel multiple times, and he has really interesting takes on sort of science and religion and spirituality from a philosophical and cognitive science perspective. Kale Zelden is a teacher at a East Coast boarding school. He has his own podcast, The Underneath, and has a very interesting presence and activity on Twitter. He's also been on my channel multiple times. Jonathan Pageau is an Eastern Orthodox icon carver. He has his own channel, and he's sort of the organizer of the Symbolic World Press, which makes books and other sorts of things. He's also sort of seemingly Jordan Peterson's favorite theologian and favorite person to talk about religious subjects with. Rod Dreher is an author. He has written many books, such as The Benedict Option and others, and he is a sort of an interesting sort of religious philosophical thought leader, I would say. So these will be the main speakers at the conference. There will also be breakout sessions, which will be led by other sorts of people. I don't have full details on that at this time, but just imagine that they will be great and also led by very interesting people. And there will be music by your favorite TLC musicians, sort of filling the space in between the speakers and help giving the conference a sense of, I don't know, artistic texture and presence, I guess. So why? The theme is the Fellowship of the Spirit. And this conference is sort of interacting with what I would say is something of a religious transformation or renewal or revival, or at least a piqued interest among people in new religious subjects. And this sort of revival-y thingy, I would say, is strongly associated with kind of online content, podcasts, YouTube, Twitter, the vibes from various social media and online communities. But what's interesting, I'd say, is that this spiritual, religious, renewed interest revival thingy is not being mediated by institutions like universities or seminaries or churches or denominations. It's primarily being mediated through the online world. And what that means is that people sort of get interested in these podcasts or subjects sort of in isolation, and it's hard for them to find people in real life. Like if you're out there and you've had the feeling, I wish I had people to talk to in real life about all this stuff that I'm listening to, then this conference is for you. And the question is how do we foster and find fellowship in this sort of new religious digital landscape? What is spirit? What does it have to do with sort of vibes, culture, shared perspectives, shared interest? And if different spirits have different groups with different purposes, what does it mean to fellowship in the capital T, capital S, the Spirit? So that will be the main sort of subjects and interest of the conference. And it's associated with the estuary movement. So what's the estuary movement? It was founded by Paul Vanderklay and John Van Donk, and it grew out of Paul Vanderklay's Jordan Peterson meetup. Paul Vanderklay started his podcast. He was kind of first started commenting on what Jordan Peterson was talking about with regards to religion. And then he started a group at his church of people in his local area who like to talk about those sorts of things. I was inspired by that, and me and Hank started a similar group here in Chicago. And the estuary movement was founded to meet this perceived need for people to talk about serious and personal subjects in a way that was sort of kind of similar to the church. It was church adjacent, I would say, but not fully integrated into the church, like say a Bible study or a formal, I don't know, catechism class might be. And estuary, the word itself, comes from, an estuary is where fresh water meets salt water. And so Paul coined that as a place where sort of people outside the church meet people inside the church, and it's sort of this shared middle ground. And it's especially for people newly curious about religious and spiritual topics, especially if their interest is due to this online mediated revival thingy. At the conference, there will be small group discussions that are based off of the estuary format, where you can get to know a kind of a small group of people that you will see repeatedly throughout the conference. And this will give you an opportunity to talk to and listen to others in a small group setting to talk about the things that you are thinking about due to the speakers and other content at the conference. And this is also sort of inspired by Nate Heil hosted the Midwestuary conference in 2024. And so he called his the Northwestuary because he's in the Pacific Northwest. So we're hosting the Midwestuary here in Chicago. All right, if you want to get involved, what should you do? First, register for the conference, buy a ticket. Registration is open, as I already mentioned. And we will need considerable volunteer effort to help get this going. I will have more info to come. So if you're interested, maybe just leave a comment, or at least just keep it in your head that that's something that you'd be interested in. We'll be setting up a Discord server for coordinating rides and lodging and other sorts of logistics. Chad, as I mentioned, is organizing the music and creative design and branding for the conference. He would love creative contributions and help. So reach out to him if that's something that you're interested in doing. And otherwise, stay tuned and leave a comment. So anyway, thank you very much. And like I said, buy a ticket. Get registered. It's live. Ready, go. Thanks for listening.